Hi, ladies. Happy Tuesday. This is, I'm just checking in for our weekly Q&A session. So this week, I had a question come in that asked, what does a healthy relationship look like? And it's such a phenomenal question because when we are immersed in unhealthy relationships, it can feel like they're all around us, and we can feel like we just don't even have a good baseline as to what a healthy relationship is. And really, we don't, because we've been so immersed in dysfunction and unhealthiness. And so, great question. What I'm going to do today is I picked out the 4 things for me that are most important, or just maybe that seem like the most important for me in a healthy relationship. And I'm going to try to do some compare and contrast with what it looked like when I was in an unhealthy relationship versus what a healthy relationship looks like today. So I hope that you find that helpful in sharing a new vision, setting some new ideas of what relationships look like. So the 4 points I'm going to talk about, and I'm just going to check in with my handy notepad here, are no fear for me in what I want to say. If something's on my mind, no fear in saying what that is. Mutual participation in a relationship, receiving respect for my values, skills, dreams, goals in life, and then no criticism, joking, name calling, backhanded jabs. So those are the 4 things that I chose to talk about today. And I'm just going to dive in by talking about no fear for me in saying what's on my mind. And the other 2 notes I just jotted down beside that are no filters and no walking on eggshells. So what did that used to look like for me? So when I was, I'll tell you a couple different times, not just in my unhealthy marriage, but in the boss that I had who was very toxic, and then with some toxic coworkers, I had probably shared some similar characteristics. So one of the things was really for me was always being afraid to say what was really on my mind for fear of what that other person's reaction would be. And of course, that then leads to walking on eggshells of filtering our words, running through conversations over and over and over in our heads before they happen to make sure that we don't say the wrong thing, that we're just saying exactly the right thing. And in my marriage, that looked like, okay, I not saying the things that I knew would upset him, or the things that upset me, what true feelings I was feeling inside. I wasn't allowed to bring those forth and have a conversation because they weren't okay. They weren't right. They weren't acceptable. So anytime I did bring forth my feelings, it either, caused my ex was an expert about turning those things around and making them look like they were my fault. Everything I did caused that problem or situation. And that, I was the guilty party for saying that. So let's move that ahead and say, what does a healthy situation look like in that situation? Well, a healthy relationship means that I'm free to say what's on my mind. If something is bothering me, then I'm able to bring that forward and say that. Or if I have an idea that I want to share or that might make our life work better together, I'm free to bring that forward. And it's a safe space to do that. I don't ever have fear of, being accused of being wrong for having that idea, or being put down for having it or sharing it. And it also means that I give respect to my partner on what their opinion is and allow them the same free space to do that. I think when we're in an unhealthy relationship, we get caught in this very unhealthy dance of, they're not giving us respect, and then we shut down and also sometimes don't give them respect to what the ideas are and things that they want. And it just becomes such unhealthy area that nobody feels heard and nobody feels safe in that space. So the healthy side of it is being able to say what's on your mind, say what you feel in a respectful manner, and be able to have a conversation about it. So I want to just do a check-in with you. How does that sit with you when I say that, it should be safe to bring forth what you feel and what you think and have a conversation about it? Is that possible in your relationship today? Or does it lead to chaos, judgment, criticism, and guilt? If it leads to those things, then you're definitely tipped on the side of not being in a healthy relationship. The second point was mutual participation in the relationship and not trying to drag one person around or push one person around. So there are many times in my marriage where I asked my husband to go to counseling with me or to do different things, and it always felt like I was the one dragging, trying to make things better, trying to work towards these things that in my mind would have made a better relationship. And he would do just enough to make me think he was cooperating, and then it would actually turn to the opposite of him now being resentful that I asked him to go to counseling. So to start with, well, maybe I went 1 or 2 times and now I'm resentful that you wanted me to go, and here we start around on this whole cycle again. That cycle happened in so many different areas of my marriage. So in finances, so 2 opposing views or sides of an unhealthy financial situation are either where your partner, spends everything and is totally financially irresponsible, or the flip side of that is they control everything and they're delving out to you a bit by a bit of monies that you can have to run the household or to take care of the kids or whatever it was. I had a friend who was in a very toxic marriage, and her husband was the controller, and she worked a job where she didn't make even a fraction of what he made, yet she was forced every day to put $5 bill on the fridge for him to buy his lunch. So that definitely, let me tell you ladies, is an unhealthy situation. So what the flip side of that looks like is mutual participation. Everybody equally being engaged in having a happy outcome and being happy with the situation. And one partner understanding that if you're not equally satisfied, then let's work together to figure this out. It's not this push or pull or drag. It's working together to figure that out. And God, if somebody would have said that to me 7 or 8 years ago, I wouldn't have even been able to relate to that, or even to think that it was possible to have in a relationship. So if it sounds like foreign words to your ears, like it would have to me 8 years ago, there really are relationships out there where people work together for the best good of both parties in the relationship, and for individually keeping themselves healthy, and so that they can mutually then come together for the benefit of that relationship. Point number 3 is respect for your ideas, skills, dreams, goals. So what does the unhealthy side of this look like? I was a professional in the corporate world, had a job as a district manager of a company, and was good at what I did, and that really threatened my husband. And so every chance that he could get, he was always trying to find a way to devalue what I did. So maybe my job wasn't as physical as his job. So he was always putting out, you just sit on your butt all day, and I have to actually be out there working. Well, that's a very, very devaluing statement, because the physical exertion of someone's job really doesn't have a measure of their value, their expertise in their career, or how you manage your home life. So maybe it's in how you take care of the home. If that other person is constantly criticizing how you take care of the home, or how you manage the finances, or how you walk the dog, or how you do your hair, that's not a healthy situation. So in a healthy relationship, it looks like being respectful and just totally appreciating your partner's good skills and building them up and encouraging them to do the things that are in their strength and their line of business. And just really, if your partner is good at their job, or let's flip that around and say, you're good at your job and what you do, it's your partner recognizing that and really giving you the praise and appreciation for those skills that you have. So that's what a healthy situation looks like when it comes to giving respect for skills, dreams, and ideas. And really, I think the ultimate in a relationship is where you have ideas, skills, dreams that mesh together as partners, and you're really working towards those goals together. So I've seen some couples who, they both love to travel, and they work at running a business together so that they can have the freedom and flexibility to travel. And so they have that common interest, common goal, and they're working towards that together, instead of this constant pulling at each other and picking at each other, and really trying to devalue one another. When that's going on, it's really trying to devalue you in order for the other person to make them feel better about themselves. So that's kind of what that is. And then the last one I touched a little bit on in my previous point, but no name calling, criticism, jokes, backhanded jabs. If you're in an unhealthy relationship, I probably don't even need to explain that any more than I do. But when you're in a situation where you feel like your partner is always criticizing you, nothing that you do is good enough. One comment that just sticks out for me so much, and that my ex-husband made, was one Halloween we were with the kids, and I must have had a witch hat on and a costume, and he was just this comment, oh, now now you're dressed up how you like the witch you really are. And I remember him then saying, oh, I'm just joking. And well, no, he was throwing a backhanded jab and criticism at me. And in a healthy relationship, that type of thing doesn't exist. There's no fear or threat of being criticized, or personal criticisms and insults about how you look, what you wear, how you eat your soup, whatever it might be. And if somebody has to cover up their jabs by saying, oh, I'm just joking, or I wasn't being serious, things like that, no, that's not okay. You know, in a healthy relationship, we can joke around and we can tease each other and make light of our flaws and things in a humorous way, but it doesn't come across as being hurtful or jabs. I've seen too much criticism. The boss that I had that was very toxic used sarcasm constantly, and his sarcasm was his way of just judging and critiquing and really making fun of people, but yet he was doing it in, as sarcasm. So if anybody called him on it, oh, I was just being sarcastic, I was just joking. And no, he really wasn't. He was really putting everybody down. So those are the 4 things that really stand out to me when I think of the difference between healthy versus unhealthy. There's so many more, and I'm actually going to post some links to a couple articles that I found. And then I have one last challenge for you. It's if we are not giving ourselves these things, that's where we need to start, because we can only ever expect other people around us to give what we're all already giving ourselves. So ask yourself, or look at it this way, your world around you is a mirror that reflects you. So how many times have you not even allowed yourself to say to yourself what's truly on your mind? That you're not really being honest with yourself about how you feel, what you do, think, or say. What scares you the most to admit to yourself. So I'd ask yourself, what do you really want to say or feel? Say that. Be willing to be safe with yourself and say those things. 2, mutual participation in your own relationship. Where are you not showing up in your own life? Where do you need to show up in your life? Here, one example that just popped into my mind right now of this is when I was still married, I sat back and waited for my husband to do so many things. And for me, it was almost like that way of saying, well, you didn't do this, so it's proof that, you're kind of screwing this relationship up. One of those things I can think of was discipline for my kids. I sat back so much and didn't take responsibility for that myself, because part of me wanted him to take responsibility for that, and he never did, and he was never going to, but I didn't take responsibility for it myself either. So to show up for myself completely, one of the things I did on that journey to being a healthier person was, disciplining my kids has been something that I have, kind of given other people the permission in my life to do. And now I'm taking that back. I'm going to be fully responsible. I'm going to fully participate in my life. And certainly as you transition from an unhealthy relationship into healthier ones, there's probably a lot of areas where you'll find that you have the opportunity to step up and take responsibility for yourself. How much do you respect your own skills, dreams, and things? Or do you devalue yourself? When somebody gives you a compliment, are you able to accept that compliment and take it? Or do you deflect it onto something else? I've gotten so much better about this in my life, at accepting the compliments that people give me. But even the other day, I was working on doing a project, redoing a piece of furniture. It's not something I would normally do. And a friend came in and said, wow, I wish I was talented like that. And I immediately said, oh, I'm not talented. My sister is the one who really is talented. And I almost instantly caught myself, though, of saying, okay, that's me devaluing my own skill and my own work. And I turned around and said, well, thank you for recognizing that. And now I can recognize in myself that, yeah, it does look pretty cool, and I did that myself. So giving yourself the kudos for the things that you want other people to recognize you for. Simple as that. And then the last one, criticism, jokes, backhanded slams. I bet you are the hardest person on yourself of anybody in your life. So now other people encourage us to be that way when we're in abusive relationships. We're encouraged to be, and it's enforced for us to be hard on ourselves. But when was the last time that you said, oh my gosh, I don't have the courage inside of me to make that decision, or I don't have what it takes to follow through on this, or I don't know what skills I have to offer in the workforce? No, ladies, you got to stand up and claim your beauty and be the first person to be your biggest cheerleader, be your biggest fan. So no more criticizing yourself, no more judging yourself, no more being hard on yourself. Those are all things I'm good at and still have to work on today. But be your biggest fan. So be your person, be the person to yourself that you want someone else to be. And it can all start right there. You can have chaos going on around you right now in your relationships, but you can take the action steps to be the person that you want to be in a relationship with. Be your best friend, be your best supporter. So I hope this has been helpful for you today. Love to see some comments below and feedback on what you took away from this. And I look forward to rolling down this path and this journey for each of you, holding your hands, being your supporter in helping you step to a better life. And if you are really feeling like you're in that space today where you're ready to talk it through a little bit further, or see a little bit more about how I work with women, coaching them through that, I'd love to talk to you more. And I'll actually post a link to where you can actually schedule a free discovery call to learn more about how I work with women over a 6-month period of time to help them break through that fear of not leaving, and then kind of be their supporter and coach to go through the process of leaving that abusive relationship, and then putting in place all the things that need to happen to go forward from there. So I'm going to post a couple links, two articles on what healthy relationships look like, and then the third just to schedule a call if you're in a space of being ready to do that. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll look forward to hearing from you soon. Bye-bye.